Hey, Rainbow here, and welcome to my channel. Well, today was an interesting day, and I'm going to go over it right now. So, got to tell you what happened. I had a 4-day weekend, and it was nice to have a 4-day weekend and had fantastic weather. So I decided, hey, after not having the Ducati Multistrada V4S for, 2 months, I didn't have it for 8 weeks, I was going to spend the whole weekend riding, which is exactly what I did. Not as much as I had intended, but quite a bit, a couple hundred miles. Now, with that being said, this is the first time I'm really on the bike for any sort of distance since it was hit. And I've already tested it out as far as the feel of the bike and the steering and any vibration. Everything is great as far as that's concerned. But here's what started happening. I noticed that the first thing that would happen would be when I turn the bike off and wait for it to power down, and then I turn it back on like I normally would, the side lights would come up, but the center lights wouldn't come on at all. And I'd wait 2, 3, 4, like, why isn't it coming on? It normally comes right on. And, you know, where the logo pops up and everything. So I start the bike and then it pops up. That has changed with the bike. I don't know why. There hasn't been any update to the system, but for some reason there's a really long delay before the bike cycles you know, on a display and actually shows a logo and goes through the motion. So I'm a little curious about that, but I figured, there's supposed to be a big update coming in January, in a couple of days hopefully, and I'll just wait it out for that. So the next thing that started happening was that I would come to an intersection and I would start slowing down, downshift, go into neutral, and then as I was going into neutral or be in first gear and pull the clutch, the bike would stall. And I was like, what's going on? And at first I blamed myself. I'm like, you know what? Maybe as I was slowing down, I let the clutch out. I didn't have the clutch in enough. Maybe it's me, but it kind of didn't make sense. But of course, you know, you can always blame me. And then it happened again, and I was in neutral, and I'm going, why is this thing stalling at intersections? You know, it's fine on the road, stalling at intersections. And then it happened at a very peculiar time as I was slowing down for an intersection, and I was in second gear as I was downshifting, and it downshifts beautiful. And what happened was right before I got to the intersection and I was going to pull in the clutch because there was no one behind me, and I was just going to bump it down to neutral like I do unless there's people behind me, because then I'll leave it in first in case I need an escape route. All right, that makes sense. No one behind me, quiet area, and as I was getting ready to bump it in, the bike just stalled. So the bike stalls as I'm coasting, and I look, I'm in second gear. I didn't even get a chance to put it in neutral, okay? And that would have been with the clutch in, because I normally only go into neutral when the clutch is in. I don't try to shift with the quick shifter into neutral. You know, I only use the quick shifter for going through the actual gears themselves. And I'm sure I could do it, and I've done it even with a bike that doesn't have a quick shifter. But the habit of coming to an intersection, I start pulling the clutch in. I didn't even get that far, and the bike just stalled. So I had a light, I went, and all 3 times that this happened, actually 4 times that this happened over the weekend, the bike started right back up again. Not a problem. So I thought nothing of it, but I said, you know what? I'll get it looked at. Not a big deal. So this morning I got ready for work, went out to the garage, pulled the bike out, started it up, started perfect, backed up, and as I started to go, the throttle was way off. It just seems like there was a gap, and then bam, you know, it's, you know, like maybe those older style bikes where they're really rough and they're not smooth. And the one thing that this Ducati Multistrada V4S is known for is it's known for being very smooth. And I was in touring mode, and even if I was in sport mode, it's still very smooth. It's more responsive, but it's also smooth. And I was like, something doesn't feel right. It was very jumpy. I guess jumpy is a better word for it. It wasn't smooth, very jumpy. And I was like, okay, maybe this will smooth out. Got to the first intersection and the second intersection, and I still noticed it. Got to the third intersection, and I kind of forgot about it, you know, because I wasn't trying to be slow or anything. I was just going, right? And I thought, well, maybe it just needed to warm up more, although the temperature is good here. It doesn't really need time to warm up. And I had it running for like 2 minutes before I took off anyway. That should be plenty of time when it's, you know, 72 degrees outside, Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is Celsius. Maybe I'll put it in the description. Anyway, so got to work, parked the bike, got off work, and went down, put my helmet on, got the GoPro started, got my gloves on, and bike wouldn't start. And this is what it sounded like. So as you can see, I don't know why it wouldn't start. I have over a half a tank of gas, and it's not like the fuel indicator isn't working properly, because if you look at my miles, I only have, it was a full tank and I only put 80 miles on it, and when I open up I can see the gas inside. Now sometimes I've had an issue with like a bit of a vapor lock in there, so I popped the gas cap open and tried to start it. It didn't help. Sloshed everything around, didn't help. Put it on a little bit of an incline, didn't help. Put it back on the flat, tried to start it, didn't help. Then my salesman from the Ducati dealership said, turn the key on, turn the key off, turn the key on, turn the key off without starting it about 3 times, maybe 4, and that'll give that fuel pump time to prime. Well, I put my ear against the tank and I can hear what appears to be the fuel pump going, but it's certainly not as loud as maybe I'm accustomed to hearing, but it certainly was coming on. So I did that about 4 times. The bottom line is it won't start. So I don't know what's wrong. I started checking some other things on it to make sure that all the switches were good. I recycled the on-off switch, but that would have stopped it from even attempting to start. So we're going to see where this goes. So the dealership didn't have anyone available to pick up the bike, and I'm kind of was stuck at work today, which is not a good place to be stuck. And then I ended up calling Ducati roadside assistance because the bike only has 15,000 miles on it and is less than a year old and has a 2-year parts and labor warranty. So I called Ducati Connect. I didn't hear back from them, and they said that they had called around to about 13 or 14 different tow places, and none of them were available to help me. So I'm kind of happy that I was at work because I have a place to store the bike until tomorrow, and hopefully I'll get a tow tomorrow to the dealership. We'll see. But what I'm thinking about is, so what if I was at I was out getting something to eat, or I was at a shopping center, or I was going to get groceries, and I just came out with frozen stuff, and, you know, who wants to leave their bike overnight in a parking lot? You know, no one wants to do that, especially where it's not a hotel or people can't keep an eye on it for you. So I was very disappointed that that the Ducati roadside assistance was unable to secure anyone. And when I called them back and said, what's the deal? And they told me, hey, we talked to 13, 14 places. They either can't do it because they're not set up for motorcycles. And I'm like, then why are you calling them? Because I would assume that they already have these relationships. But they had someone who was busy all day in Miami who said they can take care of it first thing in the morning. The shop doesn't open up till 10, so I made an appointment that they're going to show up after 9, between 9 and 9:30, load up the bike, and get to the dealership for when they open up at 10. And I'm hoping that this 4-day weekend I have coming up, that I'll be able to use the bike. And it doesn't turn into one of these issues. Now, just so you know, couple other things happen, not to my bike. So I have another one of my friends has a Ducati Multistrada V4S, just like mine. He rides the pants off of that thing, and right now he has an issue where his seat, the heater's on, and it won't turn off. So he had to go and literally disconnect the plug underneath just so that his butt isn't burning. Arse, for those in the UK. His arse isn't, if you're in Poland, your dupa, his dupa isn't burning. Italiano culo, but that's another word. Anyway, so he has that issue, and then I have another friend, Roberto, who is from Italy, living here, and he bought a brand new Multistrada V4S. And for the last 4 weeks, it's been not at this dealership, but another dealership where it broke down, has some sort of an electronics problem. They've been unable to diagnose and figure out what it is. So he spent the last 4 weeks with no Multistrada. I just spent 8 weeks because of an accident with no Multistrada. And I'm going to check in with my other buddy Frank and see where he's at with the seat problem that he has. So it seems like there's some electronic and electrical issues going on with the Multistrada V4S. Mine is the 2021 version and theirs are the 2022. Even though 6 months after they first released the 2021s, they all of a sudden start calling them 2022s, and that's a whole other ball game. I don't understand how Ducati could start releasing bikes in the United States in February of 2021, and then in July start calling them 2022 versions when the bike has literally only been delivered for about 6 months. Doesn't make any sense, and that one kind of aggravated me because now I have a 2021 bike that's not even, that was the first one in South Florida, and it's a 2021, and now coming up they're going to start releasing the 2023s because 6 months later they released the 20. I mean, come on. I mean, why did you have to do that? I don't understand. That's a whole other ballgame. So I'm just giving you a heads up on what's going on. Going to fill you in. This isn't something exciting video, but there's more to come as we find out basically just what the hell is going on. So please hit the like button. Even better, like and subscribe, or subscribe. I would really appreciate it. It's going to help me to grow this. I know you hear this from everyone. It's going to give me more opportunities because the more popular this becomes, the more opportunity I have to get out there and actually test ride things. And then I can dedicate more time and effort. And I got to be honest with you, I actually have the experience in the film industry, the resources and equipment to really do great videos, but I'm a little bit lazy and I don't really have the time. It really comes down to more time than anything. And sometimes I feel as though these raw videos just going over stuff are just full of information, are just more impactful than showing drone shots and all that other kind of stuff. I can do all that. I used to have my Part 107. I used to do drone work professionally. I let that license expired. Anyway, this is Remo. I'm ranting now. Have yourself a great day. Ciao. We'll see you. Bye-bye.